Hi there, my name is Samantha Longanecker, and I am here today to present my capstone project, which was a course design for Trevecca University. I started at Trevecca back in September 2019 on my journey to obtaining my Master's of Science in Instructional Design and Technology. And I am very, very happy that God led me to Trevecca and to instructional design because it has allowed me to better serve the community. Currently, I'm an educator, a third grade reading and social studies teacher, and it's allowed me to better serve my students in the community and families. And it's also allowed me other opportunities to serve in instructional design and technology. I'm a servant at heart, so I'm always happy to help, and I feel like this is my calling. The project description for my capstone project, it's for Trevecca University. The course title was COM 2210 Introduction to Mass Media, and it was a 7-week online course for online learning only. The audience would be sophomore level students, kind of the traditional age range from 18 to 22 years of age. The learning management system that was used for design and deployment is Blackboard, LMS. The design timeline for this project and for my capstone, it began in June of 2020 and it concluded in August 2020. It concluded before the course deploy date, which was August 17th, 2020. Let me introduce you to our design team for this capstone project. I am Samantha Longanecker, and I served as the instructional designer for the project. Dr. Demetrius Daniels also served as project manager and the Trevecca University Director of Online Learning as well. Dr. Jeffrey Wells served as the content expert, and he is also the course instructor for COM 2210. The project objectives for COM 2210 development and design. The first objective would be to collaborate successfully with Dr. Wells and Dr. Daniels during the entire scope of the project. The second objective would be ensure that all expectations within the design are met by all members of the design team and communicating clearly all throughout that process and effectively. The third course objective would be the instructional designer, myself, would complete and kind of jumpstart the development process by completing a course outline to initiate really discussion and collaboration within the team. That course outline was developed, and it was developed by using a prior, I think it was a 2018 syllabus for COM 2210, just to really jumpstart discussion on where we're going with this COM 2210 development for the fall. The fourth objective would be designing the course content in Blackboard. I took on the role, the instructional designer, of really designing that content in Blackboard while looking for engaging instructional resources within the design by looking back and talking with the design team, with Dr. Daniels and Dr. Wells, and receiving that feedback throughout development to make sure that the content was being integrated and designed in Blackboard and meeting those expectations of the design with the content expert and project manager. It was a big part of the design, but it really didn't happen until very late in the scope of the project, after we really had everything organized and designed for each week of the course. That's really when that objective really came into play. The fifth objective is we would like to receive 85% of the points and a yes to all 3-point essential standards on the QM, also known as the Quality Matters rubric for higher education. Let's jump into the evaluation piece. COM 2210 design will be evaluated using the specific review standards for the Quality Matters higher education rubric, and we use the 6th edition. That was used formatively all throughout the development. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second, but formative assessments really are those pieces that throughout the design help us restructure and kind of regroup to ensure that as we are working, we are editing and we are adjusting to meet the needs of the learners and the team's expectations. Again, we wanted to get 85% of those possible points and receive a yes on all 3 of the 3-point essential standards that were addressed, and I'll show you those essential standards. This is an image of the Quality Matters rubric that we used. You'll see it has a set of 8 general standards on the rubric, and we wanted to receive a yes on all of the 3-point categories. And you can see that each general standard really has several 3-point categories that we were wanting to get a yes on in all those, receive those 3 points. Again, we wanted to receive 85% of these possible points, and there are 42 specific review standards that are embedded within those general standards. This is for online and some hybrid blended course models, and it really ensures that everything, the quality is high and that everything is designed as needed for expectations in higher ed. I'm going to show you a course preview. This is taking us to the actual Blackboard course shell for Introduction to Mass Media COM 2210. I worked with Dr. Wells, and we had a shared file in OneDrive, and he was great to communicate with me, to upload content as expected. We would constantly email, and I would follow up emails with an email indicating maybe design changes that we were making or questions that we still needed to have answers to. It was a great process, and Dr. Daniels was there to help support as needed. This was my first experience designing in Blackboard. It did have some HTML coding, which was new to me, but I was able to do some research and with Dr. Daniels' guidance, learn about that aspect of design in Blackboard, which I know will benefit me in the future. So looking at this, I helped design the course welcome page, the course schedule, lots of detail here. So I found that as I was designing, it was really important to cross-check all of the design with the course outline that we generated. And initially, I generated that course outline, and then Dr. Wells jumped in and really made it fit for the specific 7-week structure for online learning in this format. So it was really like cross-checking, making sure to pay attention to detail. The course schedule will show due dates for all the 7 weekly activities and assessments, and any kind of reading or video resources also listed, and it gives a day of the week for the learner to know and communicate that expectation to the learner each week. We also worked on editing the course syllabus. I worked with Dr. Wells and did a lot of the edits to the syllabus, actually embedded new tables where this course was being transitioned from completely in person when it was last taught, I want to say in 2018, to completely online, and the duration of the course was shortened as well. With those challenges, we really had to restructure a lot of the syllabus, and you can see these. I assisted, and Dr. Wells helped me with these as well in creating these tables that really show those 7 weeks and the major course components and the readings that go along with each individual week. And then it breaks it down into the weekly assignment overviews. And it also has all the points and the dates. And so learners will really get a clear picture of the expectations for what their course is going to look like. Let's keep going. So I worked on under the start here, I worked on the course welcome, the course schedule, the course syllabus. If you jump down into the weekly lessons, each week has a very similar format to help the learners navigate their learning experience in Blackboard. Each week starts out with a video that was embedded. Dr. Wells created an introductory video for each week. It also has reading lectures. In red, we work together to omit certain sections in their reading. So again, being very clear so the learner really truly understands what the expectations are. Then we made sure to start each week with the reading outline with suggested dates of completion to maintain the trajectory of the course and progression of their learning. Then as you will look at the content, each week is different, yet each week moves in sequential order vertically, and the learners can progress to the next week after they have viewed the prior week. So all 7 of these weeks go in sequential order. There were embedded graphics that Dr. Wells wanted me to include, videos that he wanted me to include, voice thread responses. We did a Panopto. There are also exams. I uploaded an exam test bank, and Dr. Wells jumped in there and really built all 3 of his exams. We will look at all of these things. There was a big project that was in week 3, and the students were to write a paper for that project. And we made sure as we were designing to allow them to preview that project in week 2, so they would really start to get a glance as to what they were expected to do for that project. We also did Panopto quick responses, a Panopto presentation near the end. Here's that week 3 project. Let's keep progressing. Week 4, again, that video overview Dr. Wells made with the omitting sections, their readings for the week, their weekly objectives. You will look, there's another voice thread, devotion for that week. Now, they had to submit their topic for their final research presentation, which was due in week 7. And this really goes over all of their requirements for the project. And Dr. Wells felt like it was very important to include all of that. So as students are generating what it is they are wanting to actually present for their final presentation, they'll understand kind of the end goal or what they want to produce at the end. Again, videos, I learned how to embed graphics and other visual representations that Dr. Wells wanted me to embed. There's another exam that was built in Blackboard with a test item bank from the publisher. Week 5, keep progressing, the same kind of format. Week 6. Week 6 really allows students to build some of that week 7 final presentation, build their, I guess, their research and design. And it wasn't a heavy week. Week 6 wasn't, because Dr. Wells really wanted them to take their time during that week 6 to work on their research presentation, which was 200 points of the course. We also included a rubric. When I look at this, this was very important, including resources for Panopto and letting users, some students, this may have been their first opportunity at being an online learner, and we all have different forms of technology with different processors and operating systems. So it was very important for me to include all of these guidelines and resources within the instructions. So if students did have issues, they could troubleshoot by using these, or they could reach out to the ITS help desk by email or phone. All right, and that kind of wraps up the development. Another piece before we conclude is making sure that all of the grades were all verified, all points were counted, and they totaled 1,000 points for the course, and that they were all in progression of completion. I had to come in and edit some of those so that way the learners would see their grades progress as they progress in the class, which was very important. One really interesting thing that I learned when I was doing this development for COM 2210 is when the discussion boards are generated. Let's jump in here. So we had several discussion boards. If you decided to edit one piece of the discussion board, it was essentially housed in kind of 2 separate copies, and you had to make sure that as you were editing, you would add the original copy and the duplicate. I found that if you only edited one, then the learner, when they were previewing the course or they were viewing the course, they would only see the one unedited, and then when they would progress, they would see the edited one. So it was very important during this discussion board development to pay attention to detail and make sure that both of them, the original and the duplicate of the directions for the discussion board forum, were matching. And if you edited it in one place, you would go back and edit it in the other. I found this opportunity overall to be a very wonderful experience. I absolutely love working with the design team. And I feel very excited to progress in instructional design because of this opportunity and working with Dr. Daniels and Dr. Wells. I find that I can serve others and lead with that servant heart that I have. I can serve others in this field and in the field of education, which I currently work. So thank you again for being a part and listening to my capstone design presentation. I wish you the best of luck in your future and have a blessed day.